Good morning and welcome to day number 2 of the 5-day video series challenge. Again, this is the 4 tools that you need to start launching your chiropractic practice in just 1 week. Coming up today, I'm going to be teaching you the most important strategies that you need to master in order to achieve what I call perfect case acceptance in your chiropractic practice, including the exact scripts that you're going to need to master as well. I am Dr. Scott Dorrity, the chiropractic growth coach. Cheers. Grab your coffee, grab whatever it is you drink in the morning. Let's get ready to go. Because that's what I do. I grow chiropractic practices. After I retired from my own highly successful practices, I made it my mission to coach other chiropractors into launching their own practices. During this challenge, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm giving you the exact strategies that I developed that made my own practices launch to 7 figures. Today, the strategies that you're going to learn will enable you to achieve, again, what I call perfect case acceptance in your practice. Now, hopefully you've created your 5-day video series challenge account, but if you haven't, be sure to click the link after today's video to do that. It's completely free. I'll give you access to the recording of each video in the series so you can go back and review them. You'll also get access to a downloadable worksheet for each strategy that I'll teach you this week. I already got some great feedback yesterday from people who are in the course, who had the worksheets, who told me that day 1 was fantastic and they can't wait for the rest of the week. I'm very flattered by that. I can't wait either. But before we jump into perfect case acceptance, I want to get some feedback on day number 1 of the challenge for those of you who watched. So whether you're watching this live right now, which I see Taryn and Tyler are joining me, or you're watching on the replay, I want you to put in the comments down below, tell us something about your goals. Have you worked out what your big goals are for your practice and broken those down into those actionable steps that we talked about? Actionable is a tough word. Let me know where you're at in the comments. You don't necessarily have to tell me what your big goal is. You don't necessarily have to put that out there, but just let me know how you did. Did you spend some time yesterday? Do you have time set up today? If you didn't get to it yesterday, are you planning on doing this weekend? Just let me know where you're at with that goal setting. And if you have any questions about day 1's content, drop those in the comments down below here, and I'll be happy to answer them after today's show because I want to make sure that we get you ready to launch. All right, so who's ready to get down to today's strategy, which again is achieving perfect case acceptance? Let's jump right into it. When I say that this video is about achieving perfect case acceptance, what I'm talking about, let me define perfect case acceptance. That's a patient coming into you and truly accepting your recommendations, not just nodding and smiling while you're talking, but truly accepting everything that you tell them. Then they go out to the front desk and they actually schedule that care. They schedule your recommendations. After they schedule, they actually show up for all of those appointments and they pay for that treatment. That's key. But even beyond that, those patients then go out and tell all of their friends and family that they need to come in and see this chiropractor, and they bring them into your office pre-sold to accept your case recommendations, schedule all the care, pay for that care, and go out and grab more people and bring them back in. That's perfect case acceptance to me. That's everybody accepting everything, going through the program, and bringing all of their friends and family in there. That's our goal with this program. And there are 7 essential components to my strategy to achieve that perfect case acceptance. And those 7 components, I'm going to go through and list them right here. We're going to spend a lot of time today on number 1. So I'm going to go through the other ones pretty briefly here real quick, so we'll come back around to 1. Of the 7 components, number 1 is preempts, which include permission statements and negotiations. Again, that's 1. I don't want to say it's the most important of all of them because they all are. But if you get this part right and you screw up all the rest, you'll still do pretty well. You won't quite hit perfect case acceptance. You need all 7 of them to get perfect case acceptance, but you'll still do pretty well with your case acceptance if you get number 1 right. So we'll come back to that. And that's during the consultation. Number 2 is the diagnostic presentation. And the diagnostic presentation, in my opinion, I'll leave it at that, happens during the exam. Too many doctors that I see save the diagnostic presentation for the report of findings. They do this exam. They don't talk during the exam. They let the patient wonder if they're going to be okay. They send the patient home to come back in tomorrow for this big dog and pony show that they're going to put on. And then they lay it all on them. That's wrong, in my opinion. The diagnostic presentation, what's wrong with the patient, should be happening during the exam. You should be finding it and telling them immediately. So they get immediate feedback as you're pushing on something or doing a range of motion or whatever it might be. They're realizing that you know what you're talking about. They're not left to wait 24 hours wondering if they're going to get any help or not. Number 3, we call it the first close. And it always makes me a little edgy to say close because I know some of the other closers in the business go for that hard close. To me, that's not the case. To me, the first close is simply telling the patients what they need and asking them what they want to do. You have to present that to them. And the unfortunate thing is I see a lot of doctors who don't ever present. They simply say, oh, let's just see how it goes. So there has to be a close. This is what I recommend. How would you like me to serve you? Very simple close, but it has to happen. Which opens up for number 4, which is questions and objections. And whenever I say objections, I get a little queasy too because of everything else that's going on out there in our world. I don't want you to spend time overcoming objections here. I mean, I've seen some of the old scripts, where they compare it to a house payment or to a car payment and how much time do you spend in your house, how much time do you spend in your body. It makes me a little nervous. It's very overly salesy and not going to get you the long-term results that you want. But we do have to deal with objections. But my key with objections and any questions they might have is validate them. If they brought them to you, they're real for that person. So validate them. It's cool. Give them a reason why, care is important. But don't overcome objections with these hard sale closes. Number 5 on this list is the second close. If that patient has questions and objections, we now have to come around and close again. And again, I use the close method in the sense that we just have to say, all right, so what do you want to do? We have to, again, bring it around and ask them how they want to proceed. We want to get a good agreement before we leave that room, but it doesn't have to be a hard sell. It just simply has to be, you tell me what you want to do. That's the second close. Number 6 is going to be how we handle financial arrangements. So if we're going to get perfect at case acceptance, and I spend a lot of time on this when I do on-site consultations, figuring out what the best financial arrangements are for your area, for your demographic, for the way you practice, and it's different. So another place where I see chiropractors getting into a coaching group that has a model and they try to use their financial arrangements with a different style of practice or with a different demographic or different area, and it just doesn't work, and they can't figure out why. And financial arrangement is something you should be tweaking all the time. The way you present your financials, what payment plans you offer, all that kind of stuff, really you have to tweak until you find the right fit for your area. And then you still might have to tweak as you go along. But getting those financial arrangements so that it's never an issue. I mentioned earlier some of the other groups that might compare it to a house payment or a car payment, try to get that financial so they pay a lot of money up front, and I'm of the opinion that you just got to make it easy for the patient. You got to make it affordable for the patient. I'm not saying lower your fees, just figure out payment plans and make the arrangements. That's how you get perfect case acceptance. That's how you get more referrals as well, because they see that you're willing to work with them without putting your business at risk. Don't get me wrong. So there's a lot to work on there. And number 7 would be scheduling the patients for treatment. And again, it's a place where some coaches will tell you to do it one way, some coaches tell you to do it the other way. There are lots of ways. They all work. You got to find out what works for you, for your practice. Again, for your demographic. Very different if you have a Medicare-based practice versus a practice in a college town, how we're going to schedule those treatments. Or if you're out in the suburbs or you're in downtown Chicago. So scheduling patients for treatment is number 7. All right. So in a few minutes here, I'm going to lay out exactly what number 1 looks like, the preempts and the negotiations. And if you've registered for the course, you already have a downloadable guide that goes through the actual scripts for some of these. If you don't have it, trust me, you want to get your hands on that. Let's see here. There is a link already in the comments down there for you to register if you haven't already. And that's where you're going to find all the downloads and the worksheets for this challenge. Now, I will tell you, some people had trouble finding the worksheets yesterday. They're not here on this one. You actually have to go over to that Facebook into our little membership site where we have all these videos stored, or they will be by noon today. And as you're looking at the page just over to the right, I believe above my picture, it'll say downloads. little link right there. Unfortunately, it doesn't allow us to do a graphic. It's just a word with a link. Click that and you'll download the worksheets. All right. I see Eileen, Eric, and Ray joining me. Everybody say hello. Let me know how you felt about day 1 of our series as we get here into day 2. All right, so before we get to these scripts, there's a very important key factor to achieving perfect case acceptance that I need you to hear and I need you to really grasp. And it has to do with your mindset. So achieving perfect case acceptance is completely dependent upon you, the doctor, as well as your staff, having the attitude of service. Now, almost all doctors think that they're there to serve patients. In their mind, they're telling themselves that. But in reality, what they really want is to serve patients who are just as health conscious as them. And I hear a lot of coaches out there telling you to find your ideal clients and all that kind of stuff. But that is, for most doctors, patients coming in already with this health consciousness in there, and there's not a whole lot of them out there. So although I don't have a problem with that, it really doesn't allow you to launch your practice if you're picking and choosing the patients that you want to work with, and you're catering all of your systems and procedures to that small niche of people. You have to understand that it's going to be a journey for patients to achieve that same level of health consciousness that you have. I've mentioned it before that we have a healthcare continuum. A lot of patients come in just looking for pain relief. Some people come in with that same health consciousness that you have. There's a whole bunch of people in the middle. And we've got to find a way to get all of them one step along the path. If they come into you with this, our goal shouldn't be to get them all the way here. It should be to get them one step. If they come in here, get them one step. And over a course of time, we will move them all, get perfect case acceptance, and move them to that health consciousness as long as we don't push too hard. They're not all going to come to you ready and willing to do every single thing you think they should. When I talk about perfect case acceptance, you have to be willing to accept that perfect case acceptance might not happen today, but it will happen over a period of time. If we push today, they're going to go get perfect case accept. They're going to accept that perfect case from a different chiropractor. If we allow them to move one step along the continuum at a time, we will get perfect case acceptance over a period of time. So here's what I want you to remember. Here's what I want you to keep in mind. The mantra of perfect case acceptance is to tell the patient exactly what you think they need, and then cheerfully give them exactly what they want. All right, let me repeat that. The mantra of perfect case acceptance: tell the patient exactly what you think they need. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't undersell it. Tell them what you think they need, honestly. But then cheerfully give them exactly what they want. That's what the first close and second close in my system do, is just simply tell me what you want me to do for you. It's not a hard sale. It's not do it my way or the highway. What's the movie The Pacifier with Vin Diesel? It's my way. There is no highway option. That's not how we're selling this. We're simply presenting it to them. If you'll start to operate with that mindset, on that wavelength, you'll be amazed at the difference it'll make in your practice. And again, I've seen it happen so many times from doctors who call me because they were with a different coach and they tried some of those hard sell techniques, didn't work for them. And now, bear with me here. I'm not picking on other coaches. I'm in a situation where I see the failures. I know there are plenty of success stories as well. I know that the majority of coaches have a bunch of loyal followers. I get the ones that fall off the end because they don't fit with that model. And because I don't have a model and I work specifically and individually with all those clients, I'm able to fix that. But it's a lot more work for me than the other coaches. So when you preach a model like that, plenty of good followers. So again, a lot of this stuff works for some people. I'm trying to fix some of those holes and make sure that it works for you. All right, let's take a look at what I call the preemptive scripts. So again, this is number 1 of the 7 things that we went through earlier. The first preemptive script that we have, I call the we don't push script. This preempt avoids overwhelming your patients with your treatment plan. This helps a lot of the doctors who are afraid to give a full treatment plan, who are afraid to tell the patient exactly what they think they need because they feel like they're going to overwhelm them. This softens that blow a little bit, so it really helps people to set that treatment plan presentation up. I typically have my clients use 2 versions of this same concept. One during the initial doctor-patient consultation, and then a second time just prior to the case presentation, whenever you do that, whether it's on day 1 or day 2, whenever you do the case presentation, we kind of repeat this preempt. Now, in initial consultation, and I've watched doctors use this very, very successfully, I call this preemptive technique the bomb squad approach. I refer to the technique by that name because it allows you to effectively diffuse a patient's anxiety about how you're going to deal with them, and to do it before it even becomes an issue. So the script goes something like this. The doctor says to the patient, Mr. Jones, you may have been in other clinics where you were made to feel by the doctor or by the staff like they were pushing you to get more treatment than you were comfortable with. I just want you to know that we don't work that way here. We never want you to feel like you're being pushed or being asked to get more care than you really feel you need. All right? So that we're not going to push you issue is important because you know that fear of coercion is in the back of their minds, right? It's just below the surface. It's there. They're thinking about it, and we want to get that out of the way. Getting it out in the open allows the patient to just breathe a sigh of relief and listen to what you're actually saying. It kind of removes that thing that's going in the back of their head where they're hesitant and pulling away from you, and they're more relaxed after hearing that. When you tell the patient right up front that you're not going to push them in any way to get more care than they feel comfortable with, the patient returns from that natural state of high anxiety to a more comfortable, open-minded posture, and that's what we're looking for here. The "we don't push" statement is then immediately followed by a preemptive permission statement that goes something like this. The doctor says, Mr. Jones, you may have been in other clinics where you were made to feel like the doctor or staff are pushing you to get more treatment than you're comfortable with. I just want you to know we don't work that way here. We never want you to feel like you're being pushed or asked to get more care than you feel like you really need. The "my job, your job" script comes next. It says, I see my job as diagnosing your problems and showing you the finest care available. I see your job as deciding if that's what you want and how fast you want to proceed. How do you feel about that? So that's how the "we don't push," the first script, and the "my job, your job" script fit together. Notice there's really no separation between the two, just different reasoning and different results from each. Now, this is a place where I've mentioned many times that I don't like scripts. I don't like you to have to follow something word for word. I want you to make it yours. These two scripts have been proved to work very, very well. And I would highly recommend you follow them word for word until you get comfortable with them, and then make some small changes a little bit at a time. Of all the scripts that I've put together, I typically say, hey, make these yours. These two work so well as they're worded. I highly recommend you start there and then do it for a couple months before you start. See if it becomes natural for you first, and then make some small changes. These two preemptive negotiations are designed to have the patient give you permission to show them more care than they previously thought they needed. Like, you know, every patient comes in thinking they need an adjustment and they're out the door. So this allows them to give you permission to show you a full case, to show them a full case. Now, I've seen doctors present this script and then fail to offer the patient the chance to respond. You know, they give the script like I just did, but then they fail to ask the patient how they felt about it. You can't just say okay at the end of this one. You have to ask them how they feel about that for the script to do its magic. I have doctors telling me that when they give this permission statements perfectly, that's not unusual for the patient to say, yeah, that's exactly what I want. You show me the best, and I'll decide what I want to do. Now, there's also an optional tag that can be added to this script that some of my clients swear by. You probably know that at the end, the patient will often ask if there's a cheaper way to solve the problem, right? They're worried about the money. Armed with this knowledge, some of my clients then proceed to preempt that problem by addressing it at the beginning, right there in the consultation. So again, it goes something like this. Mr. Jones, you may have been in other clinics where you're made to feel like the doctor or staff are pushing you to get more treatment than you're comfortable with. I just want you to know that we don't work that way here. We never want you to feel like you're being pushed or asked to get more care than you really feel like you really need. I see my job as diagnosing your problems and showing you the finest care available. I see your job as deciding if that's what you want and how fast you want to proceed. How do you feel about that? Wait, let the patient respond, and then you go on. What I'll be showing you is what I see as the ideal treatment. Now, sometimes there are less expensive alternatives to the ideal approach, but they usually have a less desirable outcome. So after we've completed your exam and evaluated your x-rays, if you want to hear about the less expensive alternatives, all you have to do is ask. Otherwise, I'll assume that you want to take my best recommendation. So basically, anything negative that you know could come up later on, you're heading it off right from the beginning with these preempts. You're getting inside the patient's head, you know what their issues might be, and you're just heading them off here. The next thing you need to master in order to get perfect case acceptance, because again, to get that perfect case acceptance, we need them to finish their care and go out and refer people. So the next thing you need to master is what I call the patient feedback preemptive negotiation. So there's two negotiations coming up. One is the patient feedback, and one is for referrals. In this feedback negotiation, which is very, very important, and again, it's a place where a lot of doctors get shy about it. They feel like they don't want to know this information, and I'm telling you, you do want to know this information. It's very important for you to be able to fix some of these systems. So the feedback negotiation goes something like this. Now, Mr. Jones, there's something that we ask of all of our patients at this point. To be a patient in this practice, we ask you to tell us if there's anything that we do that offends you or disappoints you. Will you promise to do that for us? Without your feedback, you see, it's impossible for us to deliver the standard of care that we know you expect. All right. Gone through a lot here. Let's pull this all together so you can see how it might sound when you're giving this entire presentation during the consultation. Let's go through it again. Doctor says, Mr. Jones, I'm Dr. Dorrity. It's nice to meet you. I understand you're in some pain. The patient then goes on to describe their problem. The doctor reassures them that they're going to get help and then says, okay, you may have been in some other clinics where you're made to feel like the doctor or the staff are pushing you to get more treatment than you're comfortable with. I just want you to know that we don't work that way here. We never want you to feel like you're being pushed or asked to get more care than you really feel like you need. I see my job as diagnosing your problems and showing you the finest care available. I see your job as deciding if that's what you want and how fast you want to proceed. How do you feel about that? Again, this is where you let the patient respond. After they've responded, you then proceed. What I'll be showing you is what I see as the ideal treatment. Sometimes there's less expensive alternatives, and they usually have a less desirable outcome. But after I complete the exam and evaluate your x-rays, if you want to hear about less expensive alternatives, just ask me. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that you want my best recommendations. And Mr. Jones, there's something that we ask of all of our patients at this point. To be a patient in this practice, we ask that if you'll promise to tell us if we offend you or disappoint you in any way. Will you promise to do that for us? Because without your feedback, it's impossible for us to give the standard of care that we know you expect. So will you do that? And as far as and then when we get the referral negotiation, we finish up with, and Mr. Jones, I'd like to make a deal with you if I could. And this is the part where you can have a little personality. If all of us here at the clinic can really impress you with our service and with your clinical results, would you refer your friends and your family and the people you work with to this clinic? And then, again, you let the patient respond. Now, there is some magic to that referral negotiation script that I just laid on you. If you tell them up front, before they start care, if I can impress you with our service and with your clinical results, will you refer your friends and family? Far more powerful than asking for it later. If they make that agreement earlier, because again, if you remember, I always talk about Cialdini's 7 weapons of influence, and this is commitment and consistency. If someone commits to you early and says, yeah, if you take care of me and I feel great and you give me great service, yes, I'll refer everybody to you. If they make that agreement now and then 2 weeks later they feel fantastic, first of all, it's okay for you to then go say, hey, remember we had a deal, and kind of laugh about it, and they will go out and refer people. Your referrals will go through the roof. Whereas if you skip that step, you make them feel good in 2 weeks, and then you ask for a referral, they don't have any commitment to you. There's magic in that one. Make sure you pay attention there. All of these scripts that I have just given you are proven to strategically improve your case acceptance. Proven to do so. I've seen it. I've kept track of it. I know what it can do for your practice. I've given you a lot today, and that's why it's so important that you have access to that downloadable guide and the challenge course. You're going to need to practice these scripts and go over them again and again until they're natural. So be sure to register for that if you haven't yet. And again, when I say scripts, those first 2 are important that you stick to them. The other ones have a little flexibility to them. So if you want to make changes, I highly recommend you hit me up or ask me a question before you do that. Otherwise, use them as they are. So now that you've got these tools to achieve perfect case acceptance, we need to work on your referral game. Because trust me, referral patients are the absolute best patients to get. So since you're already ready to rock your case presentation, you've got your goals set from yesterday, you've got all your lodge prep systems and procedures done, you're ready to start rolling in more patients. And increasing your referral score is exactly what tomorrow's show is all about. Day number 3 in this challenge, number 3 of 5. So I want you to go grab your download for today. I want you to work on some of those scripts. I want you to be ready for tomorrow's video in the challenge. I'll see you all tomorrow morning.